What's up, guys? It's Element,
And Flip.
and we are going to review the Black Panther.
Black Panther.
So, culturally and socially, this is probably the biggest movie and the most important movie to come out in recent memory. And I believe, judging from the numbers, I think it has made officially $200 million in its opening weekend.
It's pretty big, aside from the racial commentary that's involved in this film, it's still a pretty big and significant piece of the Marvel Universe. And the numbers don't lie. Pretty big. I mean, the cultural resonance that this movie has impacted our culture. I mean, when we were in the theater, it was just like big applauses, laughter, all the whole way. So
It was a very fun movie.
I thought it was a great movie. I wouldn't say it was an amazing movie because there was just so much hype. I was trying to keep myself grounded while watching it. But let's talk about your biggest gripe or your the best part that you like the most.
So my biggest like is actually just the overarching theming of the movie. Just this, like, I'm not an expert on African culture, but it just seemed like I was entrenched in it.
Yeah.
Like different cultures, like different African cultures. It wasn't all the same culture, but it was, you can have tribes from different parts of Africa, and I felt like I was steeped in it, like the dances, the music,
You want to see more of
the
Wakanda.
ritual combat,
Yeah.
and just in general, like their gestures and the soundtrack.
The soundtrack's
Everything,
amazing.
like, even if they had to go a little bit into the hip hop was remixed to have some classic African.
It wasn't
percussion.
overwhelming, It wasn't overwhelmingly hip hop. There was
Yeah.
like little moments of it where they used it in the right moment.
Yeah, for
but
sure.
when it was all about Wakanda, all about Black Panther, or just that whole society, like they had these like Afrofuturism like beats and like drums. It was like more of a modern take of the African sound,
Yeah,
which
for
was
sure.
really awesome.
And that was my biggest like. Just in general, the way they portrayed the culture within Wakanda, and aside from like Black Panther stuff in the action, of course, I liked the action and I liked the story. And just to add a 0.5 to my most liked, and spoiler alert if you haven't seen this, this is probably, we'll do a spoiler alert for any time we're going to say anything sensitive of the matter, but just Killmonger, Eric Killmonger, who seems to break the curse, the Marvel curse of a villain who's just being bad for being bad.
Right.
He is a villain that you can relate to. He's justified in his actions, and his actions are wrong. That's for sure.
Yeah.
But he's justified.
He's right.
Yeah, his father was killed,
Yeah. And
and
like
he was abandoned.
And like villains in nature in film, they're always justified in what they're doing.
Right.
But in this case, Killmonger, I just couldn't help but rooting for him while
Yeah.
I was watching this movie. I
wasn't necessarily rooting for him. I was kind of like this. I was doing this thing where I was scolding Wakandans and their history. I was scolding T'Chaka, and I was like, man, that was wrong. Like, how do you abandon a kid like that? And so, especially if he lives in Oakland,
Yeah.
then he's just he'll succumb to gang life and just be violent and find those tendencies where it turns into a monster later in life.
That's actually a good segue into what I like the most about the movie. Eric Killmonger was the best part of this movie. I felt like he outperformed Chadwick Boseman.
That's a bold statement.
Also, Denai Guerrera, like her and Dora Milaje, they were absolutely amazing in this movie.
I did love those characters.
Those were the parts that I really liked about this movie. I wanted to see more of Eric Killmonger. I wanted to see more of Dora Milaje in action, and then a little bit more of Wakanda.
Yeah, for sure.
No.
Oh, yeah. I also liked his sister, the
Shuri.
Tony Stark. Yeah,
Yeah,
Shuri,
yeah,
the Tony
yeah,
Stark of his camp. She was fun. She was cute.
And if you guys know a little bit inside track about this one, I actually worked on this campaign. So if you were one of those people that saw any of those ads on social media, then
So your top like?
that was my top like.
Okay, so your top gripe.
My top gripe is the CG fighting.
That's gonna be my top gripe as well.
Yeah. Do you guys remember Civil War when you were first introduced to Black Panther? Even if it was a short fight sequence, I was like, yo, I want to see more Black Panther. And then in this movie, I was just like, what am I looking at? Some of the fight scenes were so dark, I could barely make out what was happening. I did not see any of the moves that I was looking forward to seeing. It looked like in the beginning, in the casino scene, this might be a spoiler alert, maybe not, but it looked like they kind of like went to like a John Wick style of fighting, where it was like this close hand-to-hand combat where like really no flair. But what we saw in Civil War, I was just like, yo, he's doing like quadruple like flip kicks in the middle of the air and stuff like that. And so I didn't see any of that. It was like a lot of like close-up like moves, and then the CG fighting just it didn't feel right for me.
Well, I mean, my gripe with the CG fighting is a little bit different. They chose to use CG in moments where it could have been Chadwick Boseman or a stuntman doing a practical stunt move. Like doing a swing off of the sonic dampeners and kicking Killmonger back onto the train track. I thought that's something that could easily have been done with wire work.
Yeah, and I mean, there's cool ways to have CG in practical.
Yeah, I mean, just like you said,
both.
Just like you said, his like triple axel spin kick on Captain America in Civil War. Granted, nobody could do that practically, so you use CG for that. And so some of the moves in this movie where I thought someone could realistically do like a tornado kick or something, or just hand-to-hand combat, they did a scene in CG where they were doing punches, and I was like, why would they waste budget on that? You just have Chad and Michael B. Jordan, you know, in costume.
Yeah, I mean, those fight sequences towards the end just really disappointed me. Like, I just didn't know what I was looking at. You know, it was two Black Panthers fighting against each other, and there's just so many things moving, so many effects, and it was just so dark. I was just like, I have no idea what I'm watching.
Yeah, I did appreciate the CG action pieces where he was, you know, there was a chase scene all throughout Korea, and he was jumping on the buildings and jumping from car to car and doing all these flips. Obviously, that stuff looks better in CG, and you know, I appreciate that usage. But yeah, it was a letdown to see most of the fighting done in CG and not practical.
Yeah, I'm gonna put Denai Guerrera, Dorla Milaje, Eric Killmonger, and then Black Panther, Chadwick Boseman.
That's your ranking?
That's my ranking.
I really like Chadwick Boseman's portrayal of T'Challa because there's more to that character than just the fights, and I feel like I felt for him when he was in his ritual combat with Killmonger, and you know, confronting his father about the sins of the past. And you know what, I enjoyed Shuri. I think Shuri is probably my number one favorite of the movie because she was so fun, and
she was a lot of fun.
And the moments of levity that Marvel is famous for, and a lot of people might like, you know, have some fatigue over. It just humanizes these characters in a way that we could find ourselves having a conversation with these people. You know, they're not always so serious and godly where you can't see yourself speaking to Superman.
Well, that's what makes the Marvel Universe so relatable, because like, it's not over the, I mean, yes, it's over the top, but it kind of brings you back down to the ground as well with these human like characters that you can relate yourself to. But you know, special shout out to Martin Freeman, who just seemed to cannot escape being typecasted as a federal agent.
I guess not. I mean, but he does a good job in that role.
Well, the sequences between him and Shuri were actually really, really fun. Yeah,
for sure. So Shuri's my number one favorite. Then Denai. She made a great general, and she had some great fighting scenes.
So good in this one.
And then that would be Chadwick, and then it would be Michael B. Jordan, because.
So you still put Michael B. Jordan over?
No, Chadwick and then Michael.
Yeah, so you're making Michael at the top.
No.
Oh no,
Shuri's my top.
You're counting down.
Yeah, Shuri's my top. Denai is second. Chadwick is third.
Got it.
Michael B is last. Well, but like a close last.
Okay.
Because the way he portrayed his villain, Eric Killmonger, was probably the best villain we've seen in recent memory in any Marvel movie. And so I related to T'Challa the most with his struggles of being a new king and confronting the sins of his father and all of that. And that kind of edged him over Michael B. Jordan a little bit. But I do give props to Michael B. Jordan for his work as Killmonger.
It was a great movie. It wasn't amazing. The hype did not bring it to that level.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. The ensemble movies will always be like near and dear to me, and that's why Avengers 1 will always be my favorite Marvel movie. Every time it comes on TBS or TNT on TV, I sit there and I watch it. It's just one of those movies. All the other ones, Civil War, I might catch sometimes, but this one just doesn't. It doesn't dethrone it.
I would put Civil War as my number one. I mean, that fight between Captain America and Iron Man at the end.
Yeah,
that was kind of
really good.
That was tough to watch because those are two superheroes that you root for over and over again.
Semi-ensemble movie.
Semi.
All right, so we got a solid 4 for Black Panther. It's a really great movie. You guys should check it out if you haven't already.
Yeah, you probably have already.
Yeah,